Welcome back to Creator Side Income. I just gave a state of the program for the Amazon Influencer Program, and then I talked to my product review mentor, who just happens to be my little brother. But he's the person who got me into doing product reviews a long time ago, and we've kind of been on this journey together. He's much better at it than I am, so I started picking his brain about a few things. And we thought, let's continue to pick his brain, but do it on a recorded call so that we can share it with you. So, welcome to the show, McKay.
Thank you.
That's all I'm going to get, just a thank you.
Thank you, mentee.
I'm honored to be here. This is the best thing that's ever happened.
It's such a great honor to be a part of your great channel. I'm excited to see the bump, the Tyler C bump from appearing.
I have dozens of subscribers. This is big time. So
I know it is big time.
Okay. Well, before we get in, I know I've had you on the show before, but give us just your brief background as far as being a product reviewer.
Yeah, so I started reviewing products just on Amazon probably close to about 10 years ago, back in the day where you could get something for free, write up a review on it and say, I got this product to do a review or something. I can't remember the wording. That kind of morphed into me doing videos. Then I put those on YouTube. So I have a YouTube channel called Go Tech Geek, and that's kind of where I've put a lot of my emphasis towards. And then when I found out about the Amazon influencer program, I'm like, oh, that's a good way to earn way more money than what I have been doing. So since I joined that program, my videos have kind of ramped up as people reach out to me and send me stuff. And basically, I'm just always getting free stuff to review. And yeah, it's very, very busy, very fun. And it's interesting to see how things change over the years with different programs.
Right. And because you've been at this game for a long time, one of the things that I think is really, really cool, and this is something I'm working towards, is you have a bunch of different streams of income, and some of them are passive, like you literally haven't posted videos in years and years, but are still making money. And it's on different platforms and then different channels within those platforms. Right now, what do you think is the best platform to be on for long-term stability and growth?
So I still think YouTube is the best platform, even if you're not really making money on YouTube. I kind of feel like that's the platform to go to anywhere else. That's still where people are contacting me, which is getting me the products. That's still the reason I make the videos. And that also seems to have the longest life for my videos. For example, just like this last week, I got an email where I got $30 from selling a hoverboard. I did a video for that 7 years ago. It's just up on YouTube. It doesn't get a lot of views, but every once in a while I'll get $30 that comes in. So I think YouTube, for the reason it's just, I mean, it's massive and it stays there. So yeah.
And I remember when you did that hoverboard, that was a long time ago, but you crushed for a while, and that really kind of moved you up to the next tier as far as getting really high ticket items and then making a lot of money as an affiliate for those items. I started doing like some drones at that point, and that was good for both of us. So YouTube, and I agree with you, YouTube is a great place because we're going to talk about Amazon today, but so many of your Amazon sales now are offsite because of YouTube. And so even if you're not in the Amazon influencer program, you can start posting videos to YouTube. And if some of those, you've had a few that have done really, really well, that's going to get people contacting you to do more reviews, but it's also going to potentially, you can monetize that channel, but you can also make affiliate sales. Let's just get into some of these things. I have my notes here of some of the things that have been happening lately in the Amazon influencer program. And it might be that you haven't researched it yet, or you haven't taken advantage of it yet, but let's start with badges. Badges is a new thing. You get a little thing on your storefront that says you're a platinum influencer. What do you think about that program? Are there any perks that you're excited about? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so uh, I mean, badges are obviously just a way to kind of gamify, make things a little bit more fun. Um, so I've got two thoughts, thoughts on what it is and thoughts on what they might do with it. So first, what it is, it's more or less worthless. Like it's the perks that you get are perks that you already got. When you get to the platinum level, everything's like higher possibility for this, higher possibility like that means nothing. So what I hope that this is going to become is I hope they want to grow it and make this kind of a springboard for actually offering incentives or real legitimate perks. If you get to a certain level, you can spend X amount of dollars in Amazon to buy a product for yourself or something like that. I feel like there is a strong possibility that they might do something like that. I don't think that they would release that program as is and think it's a wonderful thing. Um, I think in fact that they had a survey about that before they released it. I remember filling it out. I don't remember the details for it, but I remember thinking and indicating on my survey that this is worthless unless they offer something of substance, which they haven't yet. I think they will. I hope they will.
Okay, well, now we can't talk about any specifics of incentive programs or bonuses we've been part of in the past or are currently because Amazon's pretty clear that they don't want you talking about that or publishing anything on that. However, when we look at the perks, some of the things that you have a better chance of is like participating in Amazon events. A lot of the perks are like early access to buy stuff. Like, so they just want influencers to spend more of their own money to get things. And we'll talk about creator connections in a minute, and that's kind of the middle ground there. But I know you've had actually, I don't know. Have you ever been to an Amazon like event? Or is that, I know you've been flown out for other things, but those were for specific products. What kind of
Yeah.
background do you have with like going to events?
Yeah. So a lot of the events Amazon has is just virtual events. And I did decide to go to one of those where it's you just watch a video of people talking. And when I joined that, it was clear that one of the main focuses is product reviews for clothing and makeup and beauty. And there was nothing of value for me in that video. So I haven't I haven't seen anything since then. And in fact, a lot of the hosts on there were just people like us who Amazon invited on, and they dressed all professionally and tried to speak professionally, but you could tell they're just people kind of getting by just like we are, and they probably had some fairly decent advice for people in their niche, but doesn't translate to tech quite as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I actually, so we're wrapping up the school semester right now, and I have students that are asking me their final questions. And one that's preparing to be a teacher asked me, she said, "I'm really anxious about this. What do I do if I'm not confident in the stuff that I'm teaching? Like there are certain lesson plans and things where I don't know that very well. What should I do?" And I said, "Well, just know more than your students, learn it the best you can, give yourself some grace." But the funny thing about the Amazon influencer program is when the people from Amazon get on and make videos like what we're doing right now, I do feel like I know more than them, which is weird that
Yeah.
the people who work for Amazon seem to know very little about the program.
Well, one thing I want to point out, and I don't know if this is very related or not, but I think you and I are in unique positions where a lot of the products we review, we genuinely are experts on. I have reviewed, for example, more mini PCs than probably 99.99999% of the world's population. Like
Watch
there are
out,
very
Marcus.
few people who have used or reviewed more mini PCs than me. So even though I might not necessarily feel like I'm an expert, I kind of am because I know all the differences with all the different mini PCs. I'm not stuck to one brand, so it's not like I'm really familiar with one brand. I know a lot of different brands, all the different models. So we are in a unique position where we get so much stuff that we kind of become experts. And I think that's something we often forget because this is so normal to us, but it's not normal. It's pretty cool, I think.
Well, it's cool for you. I try to forget because while you're the expert on mini PCs and external monitors and webcams, I'm the expert on hangers and light bulbs and
But
running shorts,
but you are the expert, which is still pretty cool.
I guess. All right, we better move on. Let's talk about creator connections for a while. This is something you've been doing a little bit longer than me. I've dabbled with it and I'm not loving it right now. But can you just explain kind of what the creator connections program is and how you've utilized it over the last few months?
Yeah, so I'll break this up into three parts. What it is, my initial impressions, and my current impressions.
Great.
What it is, it's a program where brands collaborate or work with Amazon and say, hey, we are willing to give creators a higher percentage to promote our products. So, say you are a blogger or something, you could go on there and say, oh, this product, this product, this product. If I write about it or if I put links in about it and then I sell it, I will get a higher commission. It's usually, I feel like 10% is pretty common, but it could
Yeah.
be up to like 20%. So these are compared to Amazon's normal commissions, these are really nice commissions. So my first impression of this program when I went in, I looked at it and I'm like, they're not sending you free stuff. They're for the most part things I haven't really reviewed before, so it seemed like a completely worthless program to me. I looked at it and I'm like, well, I would have to go out, buy this thing, review it, hope that I sell enough to recoup my money. Just wasn't worth it for me. So as I've been in the program longer, now keep in mind I have thousands of videos, thousands of reviews, and for people with just a handful or a dozen reviews, this is probably not going to apply. But as I looked at all of the products, I started noticing, okay, so I have done a review for that. And I have done, so right now there's probably close to about 20 products that I've already done reviews for that are in that program. And I just have to link my already existing videos to that. And if I sell that either on site or off site, like through the affiliate link on YouTube, I will get the higher commission. Now, when I first started doing that, I was getting like an extra $100 a month. I'm like, hey, that's really nice. It's very little extra work for me. I'm to the point now where most months I'm making anywhere between $700 to $800 extra every month. Mostly because some of the products I'm selling a lot of happen to be in that program at this time. So it's very likely that in another month or two, my commissions will drop way down to $200 or $300 a month or something like that. But the other really nice thing about the program and the reason why smaller creators I think should be really interested in this is it makes or it provides an easier way to contact the brands. So if you go on, you click on a product, it has a little icon that says message the seller or something like that. You can go in there and send a message and say, hey, do you send samples? I'd like to do a video for my YouTube channel. Here's the link for my YouTube channel. That being said, I have probably about a 5 to 10% success rate. So for every 10 people I send an email to, I'll get maybe one that says, sure, we'd love you to do a video. And most of the time, these are for kind of lower priced items, not these big ticket items. But every once in a while, like for example, my son really wanted a telescope. I saw a telescope on there. I wrote to them, said, hey, can I review this? They said, sure. So I got a telescope, and my son decided that they're not as awesome as he thought. But now I don't have to buy him one. So it is really nice for just about any creator, but I think it's worth getting familiar with it and seeing how well it works for you.
Yeah, I agree with you that I think that the sweet spot here is for new creators or really small creators that maybe aren't making a lot of money on the Amazon influencer program right now, or as an Amazon, can you do it as just an associate, or do you have to be an influencer? I don't know.
I don't
But
know.
but if you're small and you want free stuff, my response rate has been a little higher. Once you got me to finally take this seriously a few months ago, I did write to a bunch of companies. I'd say my response rate's 20 to 30%. And most, if they respond, there's a good chance they're going to send you something. So if they
Yeah.
respond to you at all, that's a pretty good indicator that you'll get something. So I've gotten a handful of products from them. Like you, it was things that I wanted, but I didn't want to pay for. And I haven't seen huge commissions. I'm making $100 to $200 a month extra through that. And for the time that I spend looking to see if I have things that I can link and stuff, for me, I don't feel like it is worth it at this point. Like my time for money there, if I was spending that same amount of time just doing more reviews, I think I'd make more money. But we've talked about this in the past, and we'll talk about this in another episode. It's fun to get free stuff, and it's fun
Yeah.
to have people mail you things all the time. It feels like Christmas every day. And so there is some value in that. But for me, creator connections, I'm kind of trending out of it.
Yeah, well, and I think too, you could look at it a couple different ways. I mean, if you were watching a YouTube video on one monitor and just scrolling through products on another monitor, that might be a way you could justify going through it. But you are right. Like, it, it's important to realize the things that we do that take up a lot of time that are not making us money, like going through emails or looking through products or reaching out to sellers, where there's potential there, but it's not necessarily making us money. Where if we have 10 products on hand that we're waiting to do a review, time might be better spent actually doing the reviews.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk probably next week about working with sellers and how to maximize your profits that way, how to get into that, what are your scripts that you use, stuff. So that's coming up. To wrap up this episode, I just want to talk about your feelings about the influencer program moving forward. What trends are you seeing? What are your hopes or expectations for Q4 or even just going into the fall? I don't know if you watched my video, but I talk a little bit about all
Yep.
those things. So I just want to get your take. Do you agree with the things I've said, or how do you feel about it?
Yeah, so obviously the influencer program is pretty saturated. I think based off everything I've read from other people and what I've seen from my own experience, views, clicks, commissions, everything is down. It is kind of seasonal. I think for my experience, the early fall and early spring tend to be kind of slower seasons. It will ramp up, I'm sure, before Christmas. Um, but like the trends I've noticed is if you make a high quality video, it does stand more chance for success. So I am still seeing quite a bit of success on some of my higher quality videos that set themselves apart from other videos. I have videos for really popular products where my video has stayed there pretty constantly. Now, of course, with the more other videos, that kind of cuts into commissions. And then with like smaller products where you're competing with like 100 other people who do just whatever videos, yeah. The comforting thing for me has been as influencer program has kind of gone down as far as commissions, my offsite earnings have continued to go up because I'm still pushing out my YouTube. I'm still trying to make high quality content. And so my offsite earnings, like as of a month ago, have started like surpassing my influencer earnings, which, asked me a year ago, I never thought that would have happened. But I do think there's definitely a value in diversifying as much as you can the way you're earning income. And I think there is value on just trying to create high quality stuff. I admit, like last year, a lot of videos, I'm just gonna put up whatever. I'm gonna film a 30-second video, just talk about it. And for a while that worked. I don't think that really works anymore.
Right. Well, and so I have a lot more videos like that than you do, and I have a lot more videos now total than you do. Last year I just went crazy with this. And what I'm seeing is my on-site is probably making more than your on-site right now, just because I have more videos. But this dip in earnings is impacting me a lot more because I don't have those offsite commissions. And so I agree with you that the high quality videos, I know how to make them. I just don't do them very often because they take more time and require more expertise. You've been at this game a lot longer than I have. And so I hope that what you're saying is absolutely true, because I think that's the way out for influencers who are kind of in our space who are like frustrated. Well, I think we need to see a transition, and this is hard for me to admit, but we have to see a transition from making these really fast single take videos to making really good product review videos that we can put on Amazon, but really it's going to do well on YouTube, and that's where the future is.
Yeah. Well, and so I did see your earnings report, and I will say from what I've been able to observe, like if we go back a year ago, you were making, I think, double what I was on site. And I think you are still earning more than me, but it's certainly not double anymore. It's come a lot closer. And I think that does kind of go into like some of the smaller items where you just do a quick video. I think you're just not seeing well, and another thing with that too is a lot of those products don't even stick around. So you make a video for that, it makes money for a while, and then the product's gone, or they re-upload it, or they do something with it. A lot of the earnings I'm getting are for products that are like high quality products that have been around for 5 years and will be around for maybe another 5 years. So I think that's another difference.
Yeah, and it's a challenge to find those products. I have a few. I did a recumbent bike that was 10 years old when I made the video, and now it's 15 years old. You know, it's an old bike, but they still have a version of that bike on Amazon, and it still consistently sees, especially come January, it's going to get sales. And
Yeah.
so finding those products that don't have a ton of videos, it's really hard to do. But I think that's where you're looking more at the high ticket items that not a lot of people own. So it's not going to have 7,000 sales in the last month. It's going to have 700 sales in the last month. But if you are the video for it, that's going to have consistent earnings for you. Cool. Well, I wanted to talk about a few more things, like having your videos get delisted, or having them pull the product listing down and then putting it back up. But we'll save that for another time. This is long enough. Thanks for joining me today. This was kind of fun to catch up, and I'm sure we'll talk more off air. But if people want to see any of your stuff, like especially your YouTube stuff, you mentioned Go Tech Geek. Is that the best place to go?
Yep.
All right, just search Go Tech Geek. All right.
Cheers.